presentation is the 35th President, John F. Kennedy. I chose this topic because he died in my hometown, Dallas, Texas. John F. Kennedy had a very large family. He had 8 siblings and 2 parents. He had 3 brothers and 5 sisters. His brothers were Joseph, Robert, and Edward. His sisters were Rosemary, Kathleen, Eunice, Patricia, and Jean. His parents were Joseph and Rose Kennedy. His dad was the ambassador to Great Britain, and his mom did nothing. For elementary school, he went to Canterbury, a Catholic school for boys. For middle school and high school, he went on to Choate, and then finally in 1940, he successfully graduated from Harvard. Military. After he graduated from Harvard, he went into the military. He was a lieutenant and a captain of the PT-109. During World War II, when they were just going around in the PT-109, a Japanese warship wrecked into the PT-109. The PT-109 split into bits and blew up into flames. John and a few other people that weren't that badly wounded helped other people that were really wounded to an island a few miles off. They stayed there for 7 days and finally left. Wife and children. John only had one wife named Jacqueline Bouvier and had 4 children, but only 2 survived infancy. Arabia, who is stillborn, Caroline, who is still alive today and might become the ambassador to Japan, John Jr., who died in 1999, and Patrick, who died 2 days after he was born. Religion. His religion was Irish Catholic. Irish Catholic means that you are an Irish descent and a Roman Catholic. Irish Catholics believe that Mary was very important and that baptism comes at infancy. Politics. John got into politics after his older brother died in the war because it was his father's dream for one of his children to become the first Catholic president. First, he went into the House of Representatives. Then, a few years later, he became a senator. Then, in 1960, he said that he was going to campaign for the president. The other candidate was Richard Nixon, and he won in one of the closest elections of all time. And when he became president, he became the first Catholic president, the youngest president. Many things happened while he was president, like the Bay of Pigs, which was a failed mission where they tried to throw out Fidel Castro's government, but that didn't work. The Peace Corps, which was trying to help volunteer in other countries. The Cuban Missile Crisis, which for 14 days the U.S. was in panic because Cuba had missiles very close by, and the Russians, or the Soviets, were taking the missiles to Cuba. So John, or President Kennedy, surrounded Cuba with American naval boats, and when the Soviets got there, they turned around, and that led to the Nuclear Ban Test Treaty. The Nuclear Ban Test Treaty was a treaty between the Soviets and the Americans, which said you cannot test nuclear weapons on the ground, in the atmosphere, or underwater. You can only test them underground. When he was campaigning for his next presidency in 1963, he campaigned in Florida and Texas. After he went to Florida, he went to Texas. On November 22nd, around 12:30, something terrible happened. 3 shots came from this building. And so I'm going to show you a video of when he died. It's kind of blurry because they didn't have that good of footage back then. when he died, his wife's dress, because she was next to him, was covered in blood. And it was like a really tragic event, and all the people were very, very sad because he was like a really, really great president. And he like fought for civil rights and stuff like that. And the man who everybody thinks shot him and was arrested was Lee Harvey Oswald. There's been many other theories about who killed him, but they arrested this man. Lee Harvey Oswald was murdered after 2 days after he was arrested. The man who murdered him was Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby was sentenced to prison for life, and he died in prison. After he died, the new president was elected, who was his vice president, Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson was the first president to be sworn in by a woman, to be sworn in on Texas soil, and not to be sworn in on the Bible. They also had the funeral, and as you can see next to his wife is his brother, Robert Kennedy, and this is his daughter, and this is his son, and he's doing like a really famous pose that they have a closer-up picture of, but he saluted to his father during his funeral. Thank you for watching my presentation.